Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's Q&A session of Combos Vlog. This is serious. Got more time, baby. You know how we do it. We are rocking the '90s Apex Super Bowl jacket tonight, all right? Because it's been a while. Got to get in the mood. You know what I mean? Who knows when the hell we're gonna get another one in here, guys? It is the week of weeks. Shout out to everybody who's joining in the chat box. Appreciate you guys. This is, like I said, this is an open session. Try to do this every Friday night. Friday night got kind of tied up, kind of exhausted out of my mind, so decided to do it Saturday night, right? Saturday night antics, as they would call it. All right, cap more time, Cowboys to the day we die. All right. So, man, what did you guys think about this game here with the Lions? Interested to see how you guys felt about it. Any comments? Definitely welcomed in here. Questions? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And I'll post up some of the best questions here tonight, and we'll answer them together. We'll talk about it, man. And we'll just touch briefly on this on the game. You know, what I mean, I think a lot of us got it out of our system by now. It is what it is. Like I said, last Q&A, I believed in this team. You know, I thought that this was going to be a magical run. The clock hit midnight, and the pumpkin came to reality. All right, so it is what it is, man. You know, but now we're sitting here at 6-6-1, still in second place behind the Eagles. Who I think the only realistic path would be if the Eagles had a Titanic collapse where they lose the rest of their games and the Cowboys win the rest of their games. But at this point, who knows if that's going to happen? You know, what is the temperature of the locker room? Was this an all-in game for the Cowboys? As if, you know, you go into this game, give your whole effort, you lose, and then, you know, does the locker room, you know, lose that focus and start playing like they did in the beginning of the year? All right, so who knows what's going to happen here? I think, you know, the Vikings, I think that should be a winnable game for the Cowboys. The Chargers game, I don't see them winning that one. However, I think that's going to be another loss for the Cowboys. Harbaugh and all them guys, they're vying for a true wild card spot there. You know what I mean? Maybe they can try to catch the Broncos if they slip up, but probably not likely. So they're looking for a wild card positioning themselves. The Chargers, right? So we'll see what happens there. Like I said, Cowboys. You know, I think after that Chargers game, it's sit and rest, and then look at your young guys, see what you have in them. You know, but let's talk a little bit about the what has transpired, right? What has transpired is the smear campaign against George Pickens. I'm officially calling it the smear campaign because you got a couple people dropping videos, dropping you know, their own ideas on this, nitpicking about George Pickens. Fact is, you don't have George Pickens here. You don't have a number two receiver here, and you're probably looking at 1 to 2 wins this season, all right? Which isn't good. You know what I mean? So the offense still relies heavily on a 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position. You know, it's always been like that here with the Cowboys. You got to have your 1 and 2 to really get the offense going. Without Pickens, you know, you're looking at the rest of this roster. It's crappy. Tolbert, you know, Flournoy. I think Flournoy, he's a number 3. I think he'll be a number 3 next season for the Cowboys. He'll surpass some of these guys that won't even be on the roster next year. Like Tolbert, he won't be back. Mingo, he ain't about shit. They activated him for what? I don't even know. He was just out there. I don't even know how he got a few snaps, didn't do shit. You know, Mingo, that was a bad trade right there. Right. So I'm still on board there with Pickens. I know a lot of people are not. But it's all about the brainwash, the smear campaign, all right? You have to bring him back, man. Without him, this offense is gonna be real crappy next year. You know what I mean? So You gotta do it, man. And he's proved to be like a number one receiver in a lot of these games anyway. You know what I mean? Just this one game where people are nitpicking because of the loss. I think what we need to really concentrate on here is not George Pickens, but the staff of this team. In particular, the thumbnail of this video is the defense. I got Wade Phillips there on the front cover there, and it's because he too was watching the game. You know what I mean? Former Cowboys head coach. We'll talk about this a little bit, but I want to talk about Eberflus. You got to get him out of here. Like, let me know what you guys think about Matt Eberflus. Do you want him out of here? That's question one. Question two: are the Cowboys going to get rid of Eberflus? So first off, do you want Eberflus out of here? And the second part, do you think the Cowboys will get rid of Eberflus? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm interested to see where you guys land on that because, and I'll tell you mine. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen here. I want Eberflus out of here. That's my answer. Do the Cowboys want Eberflus out of here? I think they do, but they're going to wait to the end of the season. And and I think along with that, you got to get rid of a large portion of those assistants because they're a big part of the blame as well. Your linebacker coach, your cornerback coach, White Cotton. Maybe you keep him because of the relationship with Quentin Williams. Maybe since you really don't need him. Quentin Williams is his own player. He doesn't need a coach to be a badass player. So, did anybody get developed under this defensive regime? You know what I mean? Like, did you see Ezra Rockwell really turn it on out the gate? I mean, it was a slow start, still low sack numbers. Yeah, he can play the run, but I want a pass rusher. I don't want another D-Law, bro. So get those pass rushing abilities up to snuff. All right. So linebackers, they weren't developed. Our linebacker core sucks. All right. So I think they know, man. I think that they know that they cannot, if they want to be competitive next season, they cannot go through this again. Because if they bring back Eberflus and it's the same shit, then you will have to fire him during the season. And then you got to elevate somebody, and you're going to be having another, possibly sub 500 season. All right. And then if you look at it, you're going to be stacking sub 500 seasons, and it is the Campo era again. We had McCarthy's final season; it was a losing season. You got Schottenheimer's first season; he's hovering at 500. It could easily go below 500. So next season, you have to make that leap. You cannot be a sub 500 season again; otherwise, that's 3 losing seasons in a row. All right, so it happens that quick. At a flash of an eye, at a blink of an eye, right? So you got to get rid of Eberflus. Bring in the brain of brains, the brainiac. And that is the relationship of the Phillips family with the Schottenheimer family. And I'm talking about Wade Phillips. Of course, you'll have people say, oh, he's too old. He's this and that. He has the mind of a 40 to 50-year-old. This guy, he's still sharp as hell. I follow him on Twitter. Very entertaining. And he can assemble a badass defensive staff. That's what you like about Wade Phillips. He can assemble an all-star defensive cast. People with skins on the wall, including himself. He's a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. He's been in championship games. Top 10, top 5 defenses in the league. Cowboys right now, they are ripe for a change. 4-3 has not been working here for the Cowboys. And the relationship, like I said there, Eberflus was not a Brian Schottenheimer pick. That was a Cowboys, try to get somebody in here. He was available, former Cowboy linebacker coach. They stuck him in here. It didn't work out, right? So now let Schottenheimer pick his guy. Wade Phillips is out here making comments about this. He wants to get back into the game. He should be back in the game. And Let's run that. Let's run it back with the Phillips 3-4, baby. I'm serious, bro. I'm serious, man. Yeah, and obviously there was a relationship here in the past. He was a head coach before. We've seen this throughout the league where guys come back in a different position to the team as a former head coach, coming back as a coordinator to the same team that they were with before. So this would be nothing new. The key is the relationship with Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer and Wade Phillips were like this with the Chargers. They had great success there. And I think you bring back Phillips here, run it back with the other Schottenheimer, and you fix the defense. You get DeMarcus Ware as a defensive end coach. You get that. He will be here. And these guys, they need that. They need a true championship level coach. And Ware is up to the task. He's wanted to do it. They haven't let him do it. Wade Phillips comes in here. He's there. Wade Phillips, could he bring out Sean Lee, the general, to coach these linebackers? I mean, it's already exciting to me, just the possibilities. You know what I mean? But regardless whether it's Wade Phillips or somebody else, you have to bring in another defensive coordinator in here. I did a video a couple of weeks ago whenever this kind of started. When I saw cracks in the foundation, I already did a video on it. You know what I mean? Others are going to start to come around to it. I've been on top of this shit from the get-go, man. I saw the writing on the wall, man. I really did, man. I didn't like the hiring in the first place. You go back to some of my original videos of the hiring, I didn't like it. I didn't want to bring back Eberflus. I didn't think he was all that, man. He was okay as a linebacker coach, but that was a ceiling there. You know what I mean? So, let me see if I can pull this back up. Let me see if I can pull this shit back up. Let's see. Let me see if I can share my screen with you guys and kind of go over that video here with you briefly as far as like other potential defensive coordinators that can come in here. Let me see if I can share this out here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, here we go. There. So in my previous video, these were my top coordinators at the time. Obviously, Wade Phillips, he brings that 3-4. And then you've got Mangini, another 3-4. He has a connection there with Schottenheimer when their time with the Jets together, where Mangini was the head coach. Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator. This time the roles will be reversed. It would be Schottenheimer as the head coach, Mangini as the 3-4 coach. All right. And then you got the coach here for the Browns, former defensive coordinator. And then you got our former DB over here, Al Harris. He could be in the mix here if you want to have some kind of connectivity to staying with the 4-3. Dan Quinn type of system, he would be one. And then you got Bradley, who is another understudy of Dan Quinn. If you want to stick with that, if you want to go back to that type of system, he would be a guy that would be available right now. He's with the 49ers. And then Bill Belichick has a disastrous season there in North Carolina. Does he want to get the hell out of there and be a defensive coordinator? Probably the most unlikely one there, but I still stuck him in there. And then you got our boy here in the bottom right corner, one of the better defensive coordinators in the NFL. He would be one of these dudes that you could bring in here and really, ratchet up this defense if you want to stick with the 4-3. But these are some guys. Leonard, an assistant with the Denver Broncos, I think should definitely be in the mix as well. And he'll be probably a sought after. He'll be sought after, dude. Like in that scenario there. So and that's Leonard from the Broncos. I don't know if he'll get a head coaching offer this season, but he's not a defensive coordinator right now. He's an assistant there. You could bring him in there and hire him as your legit defensive coordinator. Maybe even give him an assistant head coach title as well, just to give a little bit more there to him. Denver, they have good defensive coaches there. If you could poach one of them, if you could poach one of the guys from Tampa Bay, that would be another area to look at there. If you could poach one of those guys and make them a defensive coordinator. Um, Obviously, you also got Spagnolo. If you have one of those assistants there, understudy, they can run at a Spagnolo 4-3. That would be badass. That would do as well. But there's going to be a lot of options. The number one option is you got to get the hell rid of Eberflus. Even with the talent that we gave this guy, the defense still letting up too much yardage, too many points. We're relying on the offense way too much to air it out and light up the scoreboard. You know what I mean? That's not sustainable football. All right, so Cowboys they'll have to fix that in the offseason. The other coach that needs to get the hell out of here is your special teams coach, Nick Sorensen. What a disaster this guy has been. We took about 10 steps backwards in the special teams coaching area. And it's always been special teams has always been a department here where the Cowboys have struggled immensely. You know what I mean? I think they were okay with what was his name? Biacha, Biasic, whatever the hell the dude's name. I think they were okay with him, with Garrett. Bones Fossil. I think he did okay. But this guy that we have right now, Nick Sorensen, he's a detriment to the team. You cannot spot a team 50 yards of field position and expect to win the game. You know, they're guaranteed at least 3 points out of the damn drive. You know what I mean? So you put too much pressure on the defense that's not good to start with, and that's just what the deal is there, guys. Let me know if you guys got questions. Let's get some questions answered here. Let's see what we got in here. We got comments. We got a super chat here, guys. Your boy Mike. What's up, Mike? 49 super chat. How do you think George Pickens should be handled? Should he be extended franchise tag or should he be let go in the offseason? I think at the minimum, you franchise tag him. And I think that number is what's it going to be, like 28 million or something like this. It's going to be like in the 20s. It's going to be more than what obviously Lambs are making right now, but that contract's already old, right? So you're looking at the new money, the new the rise of the cap also is going up, so there's more money, more revenue coming into the NFL. So that cap number should go up. So that's you at least have him for 2 more seasons under a franchise tag. Obviously, that second franchise tag will be an enormous number. That probably won't happen. So you either keep him 1 more season under the franchise tag, or you sign him and extend him. You know what I mean? The Cowboys, I think you're going to see what they do with all these major type of contracts. You know, it's rare that they don't do the smear campaign. You know, Tyler Smith made it through without any problems. DeRon Bland made it through without any problems. That DeRon Bland contract right now isn't looking too good. He's not playing that well. I don't know if he's playing injured or what's going on there, but he's not playing up to that contract right now. All right, Tyler Smith is, so they took care of that without any problems. Aubrey, you have to bring him back, you know, or do the Cowboys say, "Oh, we'll just find another kicker"? Aubrey has been an immense part of the offense and keeping the Cowboys in a lot of these games since we've had him here. So I think you have to bring back Brandon Aubrey. But talking about Pickens, franchise tag or an extension, right? We know who his agent is, so that's a little bit of a something that the Cowboys are going to have to work through. And maybe that's why they just give him a franchise tag. Maybe they just don't like working with Mulangetta. Right? Maybe that's just like we're gonna have one more year here. Let's see how he behaves, how he does, and then we'll let him walk. I think that's your opening line, the franchise tag. But they might, man. Maybe they look at this. But if they go the extension, it'll be just like they do these other things. It'll be like all going all the way into camp. This type of deal. Maybe you're going to see Pickens even not show up on time to camp. He's going to miss OTAs, mini camp. You probably will see that. So don't be surprised for that situation there. All of our star players have basically had to go through that. Whether it be Ezekiel Elliott, Zach Martin at one time had a situation here with the Cowboys extension. Lamb here most recently. So don't be surprised if that happens. But no, I would not just let him walk. That would be just like the stupidest thing the Cowboys could do because you gave up a high pick, a third rounder for him. If you just let him walk, you rented him for one season and you gave up a third rounder for basically nothing. So to get something out of it, you have to at least at the minimum franchise tag George Pickens. Appreciate that comment. Appreciate that super chat. Your boy Mike. Anybody else got questions? Let me know, and we'll get that going here in the chat box to see what you guys got going on tonight. It's a Saturday night Q&A. See what else we got here. Here we go. Chris Gons, what's up, bro? 99.63. Joe, in the draft, you will cover it. I like those linebackers from Georgia, Sonny Styles, Ohio State, and C.J. Allen of Georgia. I think where the Cowboys are going to be drafting at, you're probably looking at more realistically C.J. Allen. Sonny Styles might be there, but if it were me, I would go C.J. Allen. I just like the way those guys plays, man. He would be what the Cowboys need now. What we need to know before the draft, and hopefully this happens quickly, who our defensive coordinator is. And are we sticking with the 4-3, or do we convert to a 3-4? We go to 3-4. Ezra Raku is an outside linebacker, perfect for him. That works so good for him. But then you look at the other linebackers on this team, how they fit in here. You know what I mean? And do you get another outside linebacker? Or you pick up one of these tweeners in the draft. But if you're sticking with the traditional 4-3, I think those guys will fit the bill there. But I would take C.J. Allen. Ohio State linebackers, while I do see them as being very good at the collegiate level, I'm one of these evaluators who believes in how do they perform historically at the next level, right? And Ohio State linebackers at the next level do not perform as good as the Georgia linebackers do at the next level. It's just what it is. You might hit on one here and there, but more often than not, it's Georgia, right? These guys come out with some guys that make an impact at the linebacker position, whether it's a linebacker or converted to an outside linebacker. So I like them, dude. So for me, give me Allen, bro. And if we're talking about historically in the draft, I'll tell you this right now. On defense, the Cowboys will use a first-round pick on a linebacker more than they do a defensive end. Defensive end, they'll use more picks on the defensive end in the second round, which is weird, right? You would think that they would want to spend a higher capital in the first round, but historically they have actually drafted more linebackers in the first round in recent years than defensive ends. So that's something to keep in mind. We have two right now, right? You got 2 first rounders, so one of them hopefully will be a linebacker. Hopefully the other one will be an edge rusher. But if we're drafting too low, those edge rushers, they're not as good. They're not blue chip. So that's why I think the Cowboys are. You see them taking more of the edge rushers in the second or third rounds, right? Like a Nealand, or DeMarcus Lawrence. These guys, they tend to take them a little bit later. So I would see the Cowboys probably do that. I would love to get a safety out of this, especially if you stick with Eberflus for whatever stupid reason. If they were to do that, you got to give him that Tampa 2 safety valve that back on the back end of it, right? That's a big hallmark of the Tampa 2 defense. You got to have a badass roaming uh, safety. You really do. I mean, even under the Dan Quinn 4-3, you typically would prefer a top end safety, and we never had that. You know what I mean? They went and got the reclamation project in Hooker. They've been wasting their time here with Donovan Wilson. It's time to invest something big time in the safety position. All right. Appreciate that, Chris. Appreciate that very much indeed. Very, very good comment. Very good question there. Let's see what else you guys have got in here. Okay. It breaks the mold. Yeah. Yeah, eventually everybody breaks the mold. Well, we'll see, man. We'll see. Does anybody remember Vernon Golston? All right. Does anybody remember that guy? The bust of bust. Let's see what else we got here, bros. Appreciate you jumping on here for Saturday Night Antics. What position would you like on defense during the draft? Yeah, pretty much what we're talking about here. Linebacker, gotta get it, gotta add some in here. Let me ask you this, guys. How have you felt about the performance of Damarian Overshown thus far? And we're not looking at the stat line. We're not looking at the stat sheet. What have you seen since he's been back? Let me know what you guys think. I want to see if you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. But what's your thoughts on how Damarian Overshown has looked since he's come back? Let me know in the comments. But besides that, we need linebackers, man. We don't. Kenneth Murray, this guy is a disaster, bro. We traded for him. He's been terrible, dude. He has been absolutely terrible, man. So you got to upgrade that guy. Logan Wilson you traded 7th rounder for him. I think he's a stopgap. He's okay. Nothing special. You know what I mean? You need a general there. You need another Sean Lee type of dude in there. You know what I mean? That I think that would have been Overshown, but the injuries have robbed him of the agility, sideline to sideline. The play of the Detroit game that made me really see where Damarian is at right now, and maybe you could say he's still recovering or whatever excuse it is. That last touchdown to the running back pre-injury, he makes that play. That speed, that closing speed, he makes that play on the running back. This play, he got washed out. Wasn't even around him, man. So pre-injury, he makes that damn play on the chase down. So concerning indeed. You got to go linebacker, defensive end. You got to go defensive end. Safety, I think, is in the mix as well. I mean, there's a lot of holes on defense, right? That's why the defense is not good. The talent's not there, and how I've already covered it. McClay doesn't draft good defensively. We have a lot of misses there, so that's the scary part about this whole deal here. They have to get their shit together in the draft and hit on these defenders if that's where they're going to go early. So get you a badass linebacker. I like the linebacker. I like Hill from Texas. He's another one. I think he's solid. You might be able to get him at the end of the first. You know what I mean? He could go anywhere from mid first. I've seen him go mid. I see him as a 1-2, and I think that's where a lot of people are landing on Anthony Hill as well. But I would love to have him. He would be an upgrade over a majority, if not all, the linebackers that we have right now. So those are the best ones, man. I think defensive tackle. I would love to get another an upgrade over the depth there. Obviously, there's talk about are they going to keep Kenny Clark? I think that's a ridiculous question. I think you have to bring him back. I don't think you let him go because of the contract or his price tag. He's getting it done. And Quentin Williams, I think what you need is you need to upgrade over Toa. You need to upgrade over Osa. So give me some upgrades, guys that can come in here and make an impact at defensive tackle. So man, anyway, I mean, cornerback could be a need. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel about Diggs? Is Diggs even going to be on this team next season? It's kind of the arrow's kind of pointing towards a divorce. You know what I mean? I don't think the Cowboys are going to bring him back. I don't even know if he is going to come back this season. That'll be the biggest clue. If Diggs doesn't play a single snap the rest of the season, they've already made a decision. Him and his agents talking to the Joneses, like, hey, just let our guy chill, cut him, and we'll hit free agency, and that'll be that. So I have a feeling that's what's going to happen there. And if that happens, you cornerback instantly becomes a need, right? Dane Brugler in his last mock draft gave us the injured Tennessee cornerback. Why? Why did he give us that guy? Because he knows how Will McClay and these other bumbling in this draft, they love taking the injured guys, hoping that they'll become something badass. It's stupid, dude. Just draft the sure thing. I don't know why they continue to do this injury-prone Dr. Cooper special stuff. Just give me the guy that's not injured already. Don't give me the guy that has gone under the knife with Dr. Cooper. I don't want that anymore. And you shouldn't want that anymore. Look how long we had to wait for Siobhan Revel to damn get activated. We were lied to. He'll be ready by camp. They all said that shit. Even during the draft, he'll be ready by camp. He'll be ready by camp. He barely got activated. And he was getting burnt up in this last game. So, but that comes with snaps, right? So we'll see how Revel does. But I don't want any more of these. We gotta wait for this guy. We need help right now. All right. And I don't think old man Jerry can wait any longer. He's getting up there in age. So yeah, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that comment. Let's see what else we got here. Yes, I like. Here we go. We need an offensive tackle, don't you think? I love this question, and it will be hotly debated. Hotly debated. Because I think we've seen what we have. I think you have seen the best that you're going to see out of Nate Thomas. I think he's a backup, somebody that you can use in a pinch, but not somebody that you want long term, right? He didn't look good. Guyton, your starter, he taps out. When he starts getting beat, he mysteriously gets hurt. Oh, an ankle, a concussion, this and that. All right. At some point, the excuses it turns into injury prone. You're either injury prone or you're making shit up, dude. He's missed too much time going all the way to camp, and even last season, he would tap out, and we had guys coming in here. So we don't have stability there at left tackle. You can't count on Guyton either way. You know what I mean? And Steele, which other people are mentioning here, Steele, he's no good either. You have two tackles. You have a big need here. I think you're going to have to spend some money in free agency with one of those positions, and draft you either somebody that can bounce Guyton to a backup, or they can at least compete. You know what I mean? We did draft the guy from Oregon, but he's on IR now, right? The 6'8" tackle. I think he's probably more of a project. He would be more like your right tackle. That's what he played in college. So, yeah, man, offensive tackle, that could be a sneaky need in the draft, and McClay, that's really their wheelhouse is the offensive line, although Guyton wasn't it. They fucked that one up, dude. They should have took the center. There was a lot of centers that we were looking at, right? And they went with Guyton. So Guyton, he ain't nothing special. He's not. I'm trying to think of. I mean, we've always had a household name there at left tackle. I mean, Tyron Smith was there for a while. We had Flozell Adams there for a while, and then we had like Mark Tuinei was out there for a while. I mean, you've always had a household name there at left tackle for the most part. Guyton, I don't think he's that guy, dude. They might try him at right tackle, salvage something out of him. I actually would rather do that. Give him a shot at right tackle, and then fill that left tackle with either a legitimate free agent or you spend a high pick. Unfortunately, but at left tackle, I don't think it's working out for him at left tackle, man. I really don't, dude. But yeah, man, that's offensive tackle. That's definitely a need there too, man. That's a good question, good comment there. Let's see what else we got here. Marcus Betts, good to see you in the chat, bro. Guy needs to play on the right. I agree, man. I think they try to salvage something out of him and then give him a look there. I think you have to. Steele just isn't getting it done. I don't think you can carry Steele another season. Let him go. Let Steele go in free agency. Let him go join McCarthy wherever he ends up landing at, and call it a day. You know what I mean? Because I think McCarthy's going to be back in the league here with one of these teams. That's going to have an opening. Make sure you guys pound that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're a lurker, subscribe for me. Help a brother out. Appreciate it. Hit that like button. Like this video. What other comments we got here? Now here we go. Chris Guns. If Francis Mongoy Miami is available, would you draft him with one of the picks in the first round? Oh man, he's a hell of a player, right? That is one. When I saw him playing against Notre Dame in that week 1 of the college football season, I was like, damn, who's this dude? Who's this mauler? I do like him, dude. I think he's legit, man. That's a good name to keep an eye on. So yeah, I like that one there. That's a good one, bro. Let's see what else we got here in the chat, man. See what else we got in the chat. Keep those questions coming, man. See what else you got here. Anybody have questions on the current season, current schedule? Okay, here we go. We got another one here. This is coming from Anton Hemingway. Good to see you in the chat box, bro. What's good, Cowboys blog? Do you think our boys bounce back next Sunday and finish out with a big bang and keep our playoff hopes alive with them stinking Eagles losing games? So I think really that's the only path right now that the Cowboys could possibly have is if the Eagles have a cataclysmic implosion. They do have a very tough schedule coming up here. You know what I mean? So it is possible that they could lose out. They could implode. They could lose the locker room. You know what I mean? Philly it's a high stress over there. Thankfully, I love seeing them fall apart, and they've done it before. This wouldn't be anything new to them. They have had the lead before at the top of the division, and let it slip through their hands. Right? Will it happen this season? The Cowboys would have to win the rest of theirs, and the Eagles would basically have to lose all of theirs. I think that's where you're sitting right now. Could it happen? Possibly, but I don't see the Cowboys winning against the Chargers. I think they'll beat the Vikings, but when they play the Chargers, I think that'll be the final nail in the season for the Cowboys. You lose that one, and you're eliminated pretty much. And I think that's where the axe is going to fall. And then week 16 and 17, you let Milton get some snaps. Take a look at him. Take a look at your young guys, and protect these starters from any injury that you may incur. So that's what I would do. That's what I think is going to happen. The next game with the Vikings, right? That is the next game, right? The Vikings. Let me see. Where's the schedule at? Thought I had it up here somewhere. Let's see I think it is the Vikings, right? Let's take a look here. Let's take a quick gander, as I say, up in the hill country. All right. Yeah, next game is the Vikings. So we got 2 home games. Vikings. That's Sunday the 14th. So we're on a little bit of a bye week right now. You got your, I think, like a 10-day rest. So you should beat them. That's plenty of time to prepare for the Vikings, who are struggling very much with J.J. McCarthy and these guys. And then you got the Chargers on Sunday. Oh, and that Vikings game is a Sunday night game to top it off. So that's going to be on primetime TV, baby. That's a Sunday night game. So yeah, you got to win that one. I think they will win that one. Chargers game, I don't think they'll beat Harbaugh. The Chargers are battling to stay in the playoff hunt themselves, wild card contention. So, and I think Harbaugh does a good job with that, with his teams. I think they play whistle to whistle. So I don't think they'll win that one. Commanders on the road, Giants on the road to end the season. So yeah, that's how I kind of see the remainder of the season. But yeah, I mean, there is a chance, right? The Cowboys were to somehow beat the Chargers and then finish out strong, and the Eagles choke it up. It would be a miracle of miracles. You know what I mean? But you still have Eberflus in here, man. They got it. He sucks, dude. That's the one thing that still scares me, man. He's a terrible defensive coordinator, especially here with the Cowboys. But appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Do appreciate that, bro. Yeah, still he's got to go. See what else we got here in the comments, guys. Keep them coming. Appreciate you guys. Cowboys champs, appreciate you, bro. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you all for stopping by. Eberflus. I love that nickname, bro, because it is. It's time to flush this dude down the toilet, man. He is not a good coordinator, and we've got some talent here, man. But you do got to get the next guy some better talent here. That is for sure. You know, we do need more help. If Jeremiah Love was there, would wide receiver want him, or would we want him? Okay, would we want him? I have Love 1-2 punch with Javonte. It would be badass, bro. Jeremiah Love, he is a talent of talents. He's gonna go surprisingly very early. He's gonna go early, man. You're gonna see mock drafts where he's gonna last into the 20s and the Cowboys somehow take him. That ain't gonna happen. He's gonna go early. If you think about like some of these other backs in recent years that have gone early, like a Bijan Robinson, who went early to Atlanta. Genty, he went early. Jeremiah Love, he's better than those guys. He's a playmaker, man. He's tough. He plays hurt. He'll play hurt and still make plays and still shake you out of your shoes. He's an amazing running back, man. So depending on where the Cowboys fall, why not? You know what I mean? Why not? You know, Javonte Williams and Jeremiah Love, that would be deadly. That would be a hell of a backfield. You know what I mean? Because let's just say you keep Javonte Williams, you still have to extend him. He's on a 1-year deal, so I'm assuming they'll bring him back. You know, but if they don't bring back Javonte Williams, then the door definitely is wide open for running back in the first. You know, whether people like it or not. And if Jeremiah Love is there, you got to call that card in immediately. All right, immediately. That'd be badass. I wish that would happen, bro, but I think he's going to go very early. I think he's going to go very, very early. Appreciate that, Marcus. Let's see what else we got here. Cowboys champs got his needs here. Our biggest need: defensive tackle, end, middle linebacker, safety, and DB. I'm with you, bro. I think those are our biggest needs, and they're all coincidentally on defense. You know what I mean? What order will these guys take it? Linebacker, defensive end, defensive tackle. That I think you do still need to add one somewhere in this draft. Being that we don't have a second or third round pick, I suspect that this is my theory that second one from the Packers, it's going to be in the low, might even be at 32. Who knows how far the Packers go, but they're going to be in the playoffs. So you're looking at 26 to 32. If that's the Packers pick, trade that shit out and pick up those second and thirds, and then get another high pick. You know what I mean? From whomever you're trading with, you get another first round. I mean, because if you trade out, typically you get that team's first round pick the following season. You know what I mean? Or they give you a shitload of picks in this draft. So depending on who they draft, you could do that because you're going to be bleeding a lot of picks there from the second to their fourth round. So that's a lot of talent coming off the board. Cowboys got to find a way to get back in there and draft second and third round. You would think they would do that, but who knows, bro? Who knows? These guys, they do some goofy stuff, bro. Your boy Mike, Super Chat, what position is our biggest need on defense? It's linebacker to me. I mean, it could be 1A, 1B, linebacker and defensive end. You know what I mean? The pass rush sucks, dude. Like that, and then they mentioned it in the broadcast. Like there's no pass rush from your edge rushers. You've got, I mean, and McClay, he just keeps bringing in these shitty players. Let's try former bust Peyton Turner. He didn't even make the damn team. He was on IR, right? Let's bring back former bust. The hell's his name? Number 13. They brought him back from the Redskins, right? He sucks. We got Clowney. I wouldn't mind bringing back Clowney in a rotational type of deal. I think he's serviceable. I think he does what he does. He does his position really well, and that's what I wanted to see from him. I said when we picked him up, I said he'll excel in a rotational capacity. If you put him in the spotlight as your number one edge rusher every down and out with all that, he doesn't perform that well. But he performs well when he's in a rotational capacity. He's more productive that way. He doesn't like that spotlight on him, and it was like that when he was with the Texans, and it's been like that everywhere he's been. He does better in that rotational capacity, and at his age and that sort of thing, I think that's good for him. So he's good, but the other edge rushers, they're not there yet, and you're hoping that Ezraku takes that next step, but there's no guarantee with that. Everybody will get pumped up with the hype videos. These guys running in the sand, running around trash cans and this kind of shit. They'll make the most craziest. I mean, you'll see a video of Donovan Ezraku running around trash cans, and some guy will be like, "He's getting 15 sacks this season." Like, how do you come up with that? And they do it every year, and fans, they love it. They buy that shit, bro. That's why some of these content creators, as soon as they see that hype video, they copy it and they put it out there. And fans, they eat that shit up, man. But it's not reality, man. Just because somebody's making cuts around trash cans or running into volleyball beach, they don't mean shit, man. I got to see it on the field. You know what I mean? So hope gets you nowhere. You got to see it in live action. But yeah, man, give me edge rush, 1A, linebacker, 1B. Appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate you, bro. Football fanatic, what's up, bro? Appreciate you. Thanks for joining the chat. Yeah, we're playing Sunday night football, baby. I wish we could, bro. I wish we could. See, I think this is what they should have. They should have traded Diggs, but unfortunately, he was going through this whole rehab crap, right? And who wants to trade for a player on rehab? It's hard to do. So they messed up there, man. And even at the trade deadline, there was no interest there. I think teams are just waiting for the cut to happen. So that's unfortunate. Would anyone want Diggs? I'm pretty sure, man. Diggs is a lot like his brother Stephon Diggs. The talent is there, but for whatever reason, these guys they burn out real quick and wherever they're at. Stephon Diggs has already bounced around a couple of teams already, right? So his brother probably the same way. I think, and I still think this. That whole concussion at his house, I think that was manufactured with help from his brother. I think he talked to his brother, and his brother told him, "Hey, you know how you can get the hell out of this shit? Just do this." And they'll force their hand. Just do this stupid shit. Say you got a concussion at home. Sounds very stupid, doesn't it? How does that happen? We still don't know. You know what I mean? That was the guy I was thinking of, Dante Fowler. Thank you, Deron. Appreciate that, Dante Fowler. Yeah, he did, man. He had his little 15 minutes of fame there, but when he came back here, it wasn't about anything. Um, more baby mamas and pics. Yeah, that's the Diggs brothers, man. That's the Diggs brothers. Yeah, bros. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sticking around here. We're almost running an hour deep. Q&A on Saturday night. Appreciate you guys. I think that's going to be it for tonight. Covered a lot of topics. Guys, make sure you pound that like button on your way out, or if you're watching this on the replay, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, man. Helps out the channel immensely. Thank you for all the super chats, all the comments and questions. We'll do this again next week, man. See you for the next one, guys. Peace out.